I was excited that Law & Order Season 24, Episode 16, titled Folk Hero, took on the real-life Luigi Mangione case, but the ending was frustrating. This long-running procedural was the first to perfect the idea of basing stories on real-life cases and has done so for decades. Many of Law & Order's best episodes over the years have taken their inspiration from current events. In Folk Hero, after Ethan, Ty Mulbach, fatally shoots the CEO of OptiShield, a fictional health insurance company, the cops have a hard time tracking him down because witnesses view his crime as vigilante heroism. When Ethan is finally arrested, Price, Hugh Dancy, and Maroon, O'Dela Harlevy, have an uphill battle to secure a conviction. In one of Law & Order Season 24's most intense court battles, the defense attorney argues that Ethan's behavior was in defense of millions of others who have been harmed by OptiShield's refusal to cover certain medical treatments, and the judge is sympathetic to the cause. I was eager to learn which way the jury would go and why, but instead, the episode ended right before the forewoman read the verdict. Law & Order Season 24, Episode 16's real-life inspiration explained. Luigi Mangione's case is ongoing. Law & Order Luigi Mangione's in an orange jumpsuit being escorted by cops in riot gear. Folk Hero is based on the real-life case of Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old who shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on December 4, 2024. In real life, as in Law & Order, the crime took place on a New York City street as the CEO was about to head into an investors' meeting. Mangione was caught on video but was wearing a mask and fled the scene. It took 5 days for the authorities to find and arrest Mangione for the crime. He was caught when a McDonald's employee in Altoona, Pennsylvania identified him and contacted police. Mangione's arrest has been controversial partly because some people sympathize with him because his victim was a wealthy health insurance CEO whose company has issued policy denials that cost lives. The government added fuel to the fire by charging Mangione with terrorism along with other crimes that make him eligible for the death penalty if convicted. Unlike Law & Order's Ethan, Mangione's case is still ongoing, and there has been speculation that the reason for the ambiguous ending to this episode is that Dick Wolf Entertainment didn't want to unduly influence the jury in the real case. Why leaving Law & Order Season 24, Episode 16 ending on a cliffhanger is frustrating. Folk Hero feels unfinished. Law & Order set up one of its most interesting courtroom battles, only to end the episode without making it clear how it ended. The judge warned spectators to stay calm no matter which way the jury goes, but the episode cuts off as the foreperson says, "We find the defendant." This ambiguous ending forces the audience to fill in the blanks about what the jury decided and how people reacted afterward. I appreciate that this ambiguous ending avoids the obvious problem of forcing the writers to take a stand on a controversial issue. However, it's frustrating that Folk Hero doesn't end with a clear outcome to the intense court battle. The cards were stacked against Price, but he refused a plea deal because he thought he could win a conviction, and Folk Hero doesn't tell us whether he was right. This non-ending also cuts off future storytelling, such as Baxter experiencing consequences from big donors to his campaign if the case doesn't go his way. How Law & Order Season 24 should have handled its Luigi Mangione-inspired story. Law & Order should have approached the ending with nuance. Law & Order Baxter standing by the courthouse wearing a scarf, coat, and tie. The Law & Order Season 24 writers didn't want to tell the audience what to think or influence potential members of the real jury in the Mangione case. However, there was an obvious solution. The jury supposedly kept coming back with questions that made it clear they were grappling with their conflict between what the law said and what they felt in their heart was the right thing to do. Thus, the most realistic solution would have been for the jury to deadlock because they couldn't agree on whether to go with the statute or their gut instinct.